Hi peeps, Suzanna here today for Spiegelmom Scraps to share with you a technique video on how to make sequence chains and puffy clouds. This is the layout, and this is actually a two-part series today. On this blog here, you're going to see how I do the technique parts, and then if you go to my personal blog, you can see the actual process video of how I use these techniques and how that layout came together. So right now I have it's called Low Ran is the brand name, and it's a bead nabber that I have on my finger, and basically it's a little Velcro or sticky thing. It costs $2.99, $1.99, something like that from Joann Fabrics, and I am using it to pick up my sequins. Sequins and I don't get along very well. We fight. We love each other, but we hate each other. We have a very strong love-hate relationship, and this little bead nabber is a great way of picking up sequins and putting it down without it shifting all over the place. So I am taking that bead nabber and just making a chain of sequins along the bottom of that picture there. And that is my sequence chain, aka a daisy chain. So I will come back to this because I haven't firmly decided that this is where this is going to go, but you will see as I'm waiting for my puffy clouds to dry that I continue to work on this sequence chain. I have two collections that I used of these. I used two of the mixes in this particular line of sequence chains. I used Hey Kiddo, and I just used the bigger shimmery blue ones from the Hey Kiddo collection, and then I used the darker blue and the medium blue from Blues Travelers, and I interspersed those along the length of that 6x4 card. So from here I'm going to now start making the puffy clouds. I took the cork pieces and some texture paste, and this is not Shimmer's texture paste because I don't have it, but it would be great if you did have the white Shimmer's texture paste, and I just sort of swirled that around on the cloud. If I had this to do over again, I would have run the clouds through my Xyron X or sticker maker, and I would have had the piece of paper behind the sticker, behind the cork, to be able to hold instead of continuously sticking my finger nail into the shimmers. And then I would have also have had a way to let this adhere, or an easier way to adhere this down to my page. So I just kept using the palette knife to swoosh around these, so you can see there how I got stuck with the textures paste. So I kept using my knife to keep sort of swirling around and add the semicircular fluff to the clouds to give them a really fun texture. And in a minute what you'll see is I get out a used piece of cardstock, and a credit card would be perfect for this, and I just wipe along the edges because these clouds they're little, they don't have a ton of definition. I'm going to go back later and wipe off some of that textures paste after it dries. So this is me continuing to work on that sequence chain. So what I did was I used my ruler to literally just push everything up so that it stayed in a straight line, and then I used my quick dry Scotch adhesive and just put a dot where each of the sequences was going to go, and then just literally slid it down so that I could create a straight line of my daisy chain that's actually a sequence chain. And it was much better once I got my tweezers out to literally lift it up, and I didn't even lift it up. I literally just slid it down over to the glue dot, and then I used my finger to just push down to get that nice straight line across of my sequence chain for the bottom of my picture there. So once I've got that attached in place, I'm going to go back to my puffy clouds because I've let a little bit of that texture paste dry, and as I said previously, I'm going to use a piece of cardstock. What would be better, having done this once, is to then go and use a credit card to just clean off the edges so that you get a more defined edge in that texture to the puffy cloud. And I will then, once I'm finished with them, they're not actually dry when I adhere them on. I should have probably left them a little bit longer, but I actually used the texture. So you can see here how I use the brush to start to remove some of that. I'm sorry, I cut myself off yet again. I tend to do that a fair amount. So I put these up on the top left-hand side of that 6x4 journal card from Coco Daisy, and they are a nice supplement, these puffy clouds, to the clouds that are in the paper down below. And it was a really fun way of using the cork and giving a little more texture to the page. So be sure to stop by my blog if you're interested in the process video. Thanks for stopping by today, and I hope you learned something new. Thanks.